Hello guys, how are you today? And welcome to my review of the 2017 Australian Grand Prix. First race of the 2017 season, and finally I can now review it. So, pole position was taken by Lewis Hamilton in qualifying. It does look closer with Ferrari now, but Lewis Hamilton in Q3 did seem quite dominant in qualifying, and he shared the front row with German driver Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari, and with the second row with Bottas and Raikkonen. Okay, so main thing in qualifying to mention is Daniil Ricciardo crashing out in Q3, and then this led to a gearbox penalty, which meant he was meant to start the race in P15 instead of P10. But yes, on the parade lap, no, even before the parade lap, on the lap out of the pits to get to the grid for the parade lap, Daniil Ricciardo broke down, and he ended up starting the race 2 or 3 laps down. So yes, he didn't really have much of a chance to get any points in his home race, and big shame for him. And in the end, they retired. Daniil Ricciardo retired on lap 25 of the Australian Grand Prix. A very disappointing weekend for Daniil Ricciardo in his home race, and Red Bull's got a decent car this year still. Yeah, a big disappointment for them, and hopefully he'll do better in China. He is one of my favourite drivers. So anyway, let's talk about the race more in general. Hamilton got a very good start off the grid, and a lot of people expected him to mainly just slowly pull away from the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel, but it didn't really happen. Vettel was able to keep the pressure on him, and Hamilton pitted, and essentially he got stuck behind Max Verstappen and couldn't really overtake, which meant, he slowed up a bit, and Vettel was able to come out in the lead after his pit stop a few laps later, and he went on to win the race. Sebastian Vettel won his first race in Singapore 2015, Ferrari's first race since Singapore 2015. They had a very disappointing season last year, but it looks like Ferrari, and especially Vettel, are right up there for this year's championship. And there could be a mega fight between Vettel and Hamilton, and for the drivers, and Mercedes versus Ferrari for constructors. That could be a big thing. So yes, Hamilton followed home in second. He didn't really get to put much pressure on Sebastian Vettel in the closing bits of the race. I don't know how hard he was pushing. And in fact, Bottas was sort of closing up a bit on Hamilton towards the end of the race. Good race for Bottas, actually, in his first weekend at Mercedes. Pretty solid weekend, nothing special, but 15 points, he'll be quite pleased with that, I reckon. And he was only just behind Hamilton, and he actually set a much faster lap time than Hamilton during the race, which is interesting. But again, we don't know how hard Hamilton was pushing towards the end of the race. Anyway, in P4, we had Kimi Raikkonen. He actually set the fastest lap of the race, but overall he did seem a little bit off the pace. He wasn't really able to compete with his teammate Sebastian Vettel all weekend. Apparently he had understeer issues, and I don't know if they're going to be fixed. Hopefully they'll be fixed, and it's not going to be a big issue with his car for the whole season. And hopefully he'll be able to win some races this year, and we'll get some really fun team radio lines that I can talk about. Anyway, after Raikkonen, we had Verstappen in the Red Bull. It looks like the Red Bull is the third fastest car this year, and they don't look like challenging the Ferraris quite yet, while they are ahead of the rest of the pack. So it's in a way a shame, because both of their drivers are very good racers and overtaking everything, so you sort of want to see them actually wheel to wheel people. I don't know if they've got the car that's really on a similar pace to someone else that'll let them do that. Anyway, after Verstappen, we had a very good race for Felipe Massa in the Williams on his return to F1. Although he didn't really ever leave, let's be honest. Again, he was a long way behind Verstappen, but ahead of people behind him. So a very good race for Massa. We didn't really see him, to be honest. After that, a closer bunch of cars. We had Sergio Perez in the Force India, P7. Last car to be lapped. And then followed by Carlos Sainz in the Toro Rosso and Daniil Kvyat in the Toro Rosso. Then P10 was taken by Esteban Ocon in the Force India. So, yes, that's all the point scorers. So, double points for both Force India and Toro Rosso, as well as, of course, from Mercedes and Ferrari, as I've sort of said. And they'll be quite pleased, I think. Overall, though, the racing in the Australian Grand Prix wasn't too good. There weren't many overtakes. Hamilton was struggling with dirty air behind Verstappen. The best moment was when Ocon, Hulkenberg and Alonso went 3 wide down the straight. Ocon coming out on top of it. Alonso, we know his engine isn't very good. And sadly, Alonso had to retire from the race on lap 50. He nearly finished the race. His teammate, Stoffel Vandoorne, did finish the race, so they were so far off the pace this weekend. Didn't really see much of Vandoorne the whole race, to be honest. We saw a bit of Alonso. He was a bit ahead, but it was quite sad to see, to be honest. It looks like McLaren are still struggling and are not going to be able to turn around to get race victories in the 2017 season. Other things to mention, there was a small crash at the start of the race between Kevin Magnussen and Marcus Ericsson. Magnussen basically crashing into Ericsson at turn 3, and somehow they both avoided a penalty. Well, Ericsson shouldn't have got a penalty. Magnussen should have got a penalty in the Haas. That should have been a penalty. They have changed the rules that has to be evidently clear who should have got the penalty, but it was evidently clear, in my opinion. Magnussen should have got the penalty. And talking of the Haas team, they do look really fast. Sadly, neither car actually finished the race. Grosjean retired. It was the first to retire from the Grand Prix, actually, but they did set fast lap times. Grosjean was P6 in qualifying. Very impressive. And Magnussen's fastest time was a 1 minute 27.5, while the fastest race lap of all from Kimi Raikkonen was a 1:26.5, so only a second off. So I think the Haas could have a promising season in the midfield. I just want to give a shout out to Antonio Giovinazzi. He came in for the Sauber team on Saturday morning once Pascal Wehrlein realised he wasn't fit enough to do the whole race following his crash in the Race of Champions. And yes, Giovinazzi nearly got out of Q1 and he managed to finish this race in P12. Yes, I know there were quite a few retirements. It was still quite a good race, to finish the race. You can't really complain too much. Also, I do want to talk about Lance Stroll. This is the final point, I promise you. He had a very difficult weekend again. Sadly, he crashed in practice 3. Very sad thing for him. And he seemed to struggle a lot in the race. He retired of it. He didn't crash. He had a few going wide moments. Commentators on Channel 4 said they seemed very nervous at the wheel. So I don't know, maybe he's not ready for F1 yet. So, I want to ask 2 questions that you can tell me in the comments. 1, do you think it'll be Hamilton versus Vettel for the championship, or do you think maybe Bottas and Raikkonen will get involved as well? 2, do you think Lance Stroll will be able to overcome these difficulties of recent times and improve his season and stop beating Massa sometime soon? Thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like. If you have anything to say about this video, please leave a comment in the comments section below. If you really enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos like this and other types of videos, please subscribe to my channel. Also go and check out the video that should be on screen right now. And on that note, I'll just ask you to follow me on Twitter at BigGaming342 and like my Facebook page, BigGaming342. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Goodbye.